Hey, it's a Home Collector here. In today's video, we're talking about a bit of an unusual medal. This is for a Mark Buckley, who is a member of the Society of the 28th AEF Division. Now, of course, those of you who've been around the channel for a while, or who've maybe seen what my channel icon is, might suspect I collect a lot of militaria from World War I, World War II, but one of the things I like to collect are items related to the 28th Infantry Division, because the 28th Infantry Division has a long history as a Pennsylvania division, and I'm a Pennsylvania myself, so collecting items for my home state's kind of cool. And actually, this one was kind of an intriguing find. If I'm remembering correctly, I got this from eBay, and I was actually able to track down quite a bit about Mr. Mark Buckley here. So, for my research, Mark Buckley was born on March 28th, 1886, and prior to the war was a chauffeur. Now, when he registered for the military, he was 5'5", of fair complexion, had blue eyes and dark brown hair, and his military serial number was 1236015. He enlisted on June 30th, 1916, at Mount Gretna, PA, and would become a bugler on August 1st. Now, he would serve with Company E of the 109th Infantry Regiment from his enlistment through October 15th, 1918. Now, of course, having joined the military in 1916, Mr. Buckley would actually be involved in the crisis that was going on down at the Mexican border at this time. So the 28th Division, prior to World War I, was actually deployed down on the border with Mexico while Pancho Villa was doing all of his stuff. And it was a bit of a confusing and scary time to live along the border there. Now, by the time that the United States joined World War I, Mr. Buckley was a corporal, and he would serve as a corporal until his promotion to sergeant on March 6, 1918, and would continue serving with Company E of the 109th Infantry Regiment until October 15th of 1918. Now, starting October 15th, he was transferred to Company A of the 103rd Ammunition Train and would serve with this unit until his discharge. Now, that meant that he was with the 109th Infantry Regiment for essentially their entire frontline service during World War I. I mean, October 15th is less than a month before the end of the war. And so one of the interesting things that I have here, this was not Mr. Buckley's, but is a victory medal with a combination of clasps that is unique to the 28th Infantry Division. So here we have the Champagne Marne clasp, the Ein Marne clasp, the Oi Ein clasp, the Meuse Argonne clasp, and the Defensive Sector clasp. So while I don't have his specific medal, this is the kind of victory medal that he would have been awarded, assuming that he was not wounded at some point and not with the division while they were serving in these areas. I didn't find a record saying that he'd been wounded, so while it's possible, it doesn't seem particularly likely. Mr. Buckley would sail home from France on the USS Liberator on April 23rd, 1919, and would be discharged just a few weeks later on May 20th of 1918. Now, he would live a fairly long life after the war, passing away on April 24th, 1963, putting him well into his late 70s. Now, obviously, post-World War I, he must have joined up with the Society of the 28th AEF Division, which, of course, is a veterans organization for the 28th Infantry Division. Now, unfortunately, this particular society no longer exists. As you can imagine, while many World War II veterans would also join this organization, by the 1990s, most of the World War I veterans had passed on. A lot of the World War II veterans had passed on or were starting to get old enough that they weren't really active in the organization anymore. And it more or less folded at that point. There is a newer organization called the 28th Infantry Division Association, which exists in its place. They've kind of essentially supplanted the older organization that was no longer functioning. And while their website is a bit outdated, I did reach out to them to see if they had any records on Mr. Buckley and got a reply back almost immediately. So it seems like there is still somebody watching the website and answering questions, which is always nice to see. Now, what's interesting, and you probably noticed that I have these medals on something here. This is Volume 1 of a multi-volume set on the history of the 28th Infantry Division from prior to World War I through the First World War. Now, I have been looking for a set of these books for years. I was in Gettysburg just this past weekend and was at an antique store with my good friend Readout Productions and found 5 volumes of this book for $20. I'm pretty sure it's only 5 volumes total, so I think that's the entire thing, but still, $20 was an absolute steal for all 5 books. So I'm going to go ahead and move these medals here because there's something very interesting. So this is the first volume, and in it has like the entire history of the 109th Infantry Regiment. And if I open it, we can actually see, if I can remember where it is, there it is. Yeah, right here We have Mark C. Buckley, 123-6015, Sergeant, DS 103rd Ammunition Train, transferred to Motor Transport August 10th, 1918. So Mark Buckley is 100% definitely the same guy as I found the documents for. He was a member of Company E. And most excitingly, if I flip to the next page here, we can see that on the list of these photographs from Company E of the 109th Infantry Regiment, that there is a Corporal Mark C. Buckley, same guy prior to his promotion, and he is number 12 on the image up here. So if I scroll up here, we can actually see, there he is. There is Mr. Buckley. So very cool. It's always exciting when I'm able to find photographs of the people that I'm researching. Because, when I do like my death cards and stuff, there's usually a photo involved. But for a lot of this other stuff, it's not nearly as certain. So very lucky I picked up these books recently. I was able to kind of put that together for this video. Big fan of 28th Infantry Division stuff, like I said. So hoping to acquire more in the future and maybe talk more about it on the channel. This book, by the way, and the other volumes of the series are insane. They essentially have full unit rosters for the entire division. All kinds of really, really cool stuff. So I guess if anybody out there has questions about the 28th Infantry Division during World War I and needs me to check the book for something for them, please reach out to my email there. But yes, I'm actually able to put the medal there with his photograph. And that's pretty much it. I just think it's a really neat medal tied to probably one of my favorite infantry divisions in the U.S. Army. And yeah, just a really cool chance to show that off, as well as the book that I recently got that's going to help a ton of my research. So I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. Please leave a comment down below. Love hearing from you. Thank you all for watching. Happy collecting, and I'll see you all again very soon.